Hello there, and this time I want to talk something I see all the time and I've been guilty of as well. We all do it without even really thinking about it. There's no malice behind it, there's no intention behind it, but that's partly what the problem is. So, what we do is we write a very thoughtful email in response to somebody's inquiry. We explain the service or the program or the school, we outline the next stage. We may talk about fit, about timing, about value, about outcomes, how fabulous we are, and how we'd love them to come and see us or study it. And then we finish with, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. I mean, really? Now, I think all of us have done that, surely. All of us have done that in the education sector, hell, in any sector. We've written that line at some point. It sounds polite, it sounds helpful, and it feels kind of safe, and it's just a thoughtless thing that we do. But the reality is that kind of sign off often can slow the decision making down rather than helping it along. And it's not because you don't care, and it's not because we're not good at our jobs, and it's just usually because no one has ever really thought about or shown you that there is a different kind of more strong, potentially more professional and converting close of an email. So there's some ideas that I've been thinking about, and some ideas I'd like to give you to take away from this, right? So I'm not just here to beat you up about saying, if you have any questions, get in touch. So, but have a little think. What do we actually want them to do after our email arrives and when they've read it? Can they do that thing easily? Okay, have they got to come up with these questions, or do we have suggestions for questions? Do you want them to come in and visit you? Do you want to have a meeting? Have you made them feel able, willing, and, dare I say, excited to do that next thing, to take that next step? Saying, if you've got any questions, get in touch. This is something that everybody writes on every single email, right? That's not making anyone feel special or like they're getting a VIP treatment. And it's not to say you can't use a templated end to your email. You can, just maybe not that one, the one that everybody in the world uses. I mean, you've probably heard of status quo bias, maybe going off a piece a little bit here, but you've probably heard of status quo bias, right? So it's just easier to do nothing than to do something. It's just easier. That's why people just stay as they are, whereas just one extra thing might make life better or the outcome better. So we have to give people, this is just a human thing, we have to give people every bit of help that we can to take the action that will help them along their journey. But we also have to give them every help and every bit of support, but also have to help them feel like they want to take that next step, right? It doesn't have to be a big step. Like, we're not going straight to the sale necessarily, though you might be, but just need to feel good enough to stop the status quo bias and take that next step. Good enough and with enough information to get through that overwhelm and not read everybody else's emails that say that at the end. So every single communication that you send should ideally make the reader or the listener, if it's a call, feel something. So nothing is just neutral. Why would we, change anything just for neutral? That's just nothingy. They either feel more clear, like they are calmer or more confident or able to make a decision, or they may feel unsure or overloaded, or that they're just being treated like everybody else. Now, which would you prefer? And if it's a case, maybe, of just changing the close of an email, then maybe it's something dead easy we can include. I mean, at the end of the day, also, every message, every communication has a job, right? It should add value and it should help them to move forward if it's right for them. Maybe it's to help them move out if it's not right for them. And it should make the next step for them feel natural and safe. So when we end up with a vague, polite sign off like, if you have any questions, get in touch, we remove all the momentum that the rest of your emails just built, which would be a shame. And the same applies for real life, by the way. Leave a meeting or a tour, anything face to face, any meeting, tour, visit, whatever it might be, without clearly outlining what the next steps are. It kind of goes, yay, brilliant, 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 crescendo. And so what do you think? Any questions? It's just, what's a bit needy, apart from anything else. Let's make that clear. We can ask questions too. Ask questions, see what they think and what they would like the next steps to be as well. That's another option. But just leaving them with a bit meh, kind of, you've lost all that lovely momentum. You've lost control for sure of that sales process. So rather than saying, do call if you have any questions, or any questions, get in touch. How about we suggest some questions that others may have had, or ask them if they're ready to go ahead? That could be an option. It may feel awkward. I see this quite a lot in meetings where the sale is pretty much closed, actually. The booking or the enrollment is pretty much closed. But they say, I'm going to send you the information and then you can get back to me if you have any questions. Why not try a close? If they don't close then and there, they need more information or time or something, or to feel something else, in which case that's fine. Closing doesn't have to mean the end if they say no either. Okay, so it might feel a bit awkward, but sometimes you need to practice and adjust the words to be, your authentic, lovely self, and try. Otherwise, you do give yourself a lot of follow-up that you may not even need to do. So a useful rule of thumb, I guess, is this. So every email, at least, should do these three things, right? It should add value, for sure. It should create movement, ideally towards where we all want them to be, or out of our pipeline. But it should move somewhere. And it should improve how that receiver feels about the next step. So all three of those: add value, create movement, and improve how they feel, no matter what that next step is. So when you're closing an email, think in terms of that simple hierarchy. So first, ask for the next step. Just ask, try it. Do it in a way that feels good, but do it. I role play this with teams quite often, actually, being clear on what the next close is. Now, it might be a mini close. It might be, let's talk tomorrow. Great, let's do that. That's a close. That's a mini close. That's good. It doesn't have to be a big, shiny or singing or dancing close. We're looking at the next step along the path towards the next conversion point. Okay, so if they cannot go ahead without having a consultation with you, or a meeting, or a tour, or whatever it might be, then getting them to do that is your next step. So let's agree a date. That might be your mini close. Okay, it might be that you need another meeting. It might be that you need them to fill in a form. So help them fill in the form. When shall we fill in the form? I can help you fill in the form. What do you need to fill in the form? Here's a checklist of things you need to fill in the form. Here's our video on how to fill in the form. What friction is there along that journey? How safe do they feel? Filling in forms can be really intimidating for some people, for example. So what will genuinely move them forward to take that little mini step towards your conversion point? And, if it all feels too big and scary to you and them, then ask for a smaller step. Quick reply, maybe, or 2 possible dates to choose from for a meeting, or permission to send them something helpful, or even a simple question, like really easy to answer question. It doesn't have to be the answer to the beginning of the universe. And even if that feels too much, you can warm them up. Ask what they would need to feel confident in taking the next step. Ask what their main worry might be. You might not be able to help them, but even listening is adding value. Ask them what would help them picture that next stage. Because your role isn't just to send information and then kind of lazily wait to see if they have any questions. We can't really afford to do that. These are hard-won, expensive inquiries, right? So, and we've got people with elbows out trying to get those students from us. So we need to go a little bit further. Don't just dump information on them and then say, if you've got any questions, kind of up to you. Let's see what we can do to move that forward. We have to guide people through this big, emotional, kind of high stakes decision. They absolutely deserve us to think more about those emails that we send all day. We send the same things all day, every day, don't we? And we get used to doing it. So just take a step back and see what else you can do. So instead of saying, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call, you might say, and make these up yourself. But let's have a go here. So we might say, so shall we have a quick call at the end of this week to see if blah blah feels right, or see if you would like to come in, or whatever that next step is. Or would it help if I sent you a thing, a sample timetable, a case study, whatever it might be, so that you can picture it more clearly? Would that be helpful to you? Or what about if it was just a simple question? So what would you need to feel confident about moving on to the next step? Do you need anything from me in order to book in that meeting? How do you feel about having a meeting next Tuesday? Ask. One of the biggest things I see non-sales people in sales roles doing is not asking for the sale not necessarily being that final enrollment, but being the next kind of mini close, the mini step along that long pathway. Ask. And these closes, these mini closes, they add value, they create direction, and they help the reader or the listener or the person in front of you feel more comfortable to take that next step. And that's what professional selling education really looks like. It's not pushy as such, it's guiding. It's not salesy, but it is clear and helpful, but it has a purpose. So the next time you finish an email, maybe just pause for a second and ask yourself, will this make them feel anything? What does it make them feel? And what value am I adding here? I'm giving them a ton of information. Do they need anything to take that next step? What else do they need? What do they need to feel and see from me? And then say and do that clearly. And, lead them there, help them get over any bumps or any friction that might be in the way, because enrollments don't come really from if you have any questions, then get back to me. I mean, they come from well-guided conversations. So helping those wonderful people along a path to this big decision, their perfect school. What a wonderful thing we are entrusted to. So let's not throw it away on me. If you have any questions, then get back to me. See if we can make them feel good enough to take that very next step along the path. Try it. Read through your last email, see if you made them feel anything. Just tweak the final line. See how you go. Create 5, 6 of them, 6 different alternatives, and then just place them in there. See how they go. Can't be any worse than if you've got any questions, let me know, can it? Okay? You could even try, if you've got any questions, I'll give you a call on Friday and see if I can help you with any of them. That's even better, isn't it? Give it a try. You are fantastic humans. Everyone that works in education is just wonderful as far as I'm concerned. So let's go and make sure that everyone else can feel that. And we're going to go forth and enroll more of those students, get them to where they need to be. Thanks so much for listening.